What's going on, everybody? Dogman Dan here. We are in Warframe, and what we're going to do today is go into the back here, the focus area, if you will, and go through all the skill trees. I have worked the past couple days to get all of these skill trees ready to be unlocked, so we can finally go through each and every single one, especially since they recently updated the skill trees so they have a little more information on them. All I'm doing at this point is unlocking. I haven't actually started utilizing any of the skills, just as FYI. I haven't started putting anything into passives or anything like that. I've got ideas of what I want to do, and we'll kind of discuss it as we go through here. For me, obviously I've put a lens on 5 different frames, so stay tuned for that, because that means I've got different setups on different frames now, so on and so on. But really, at this point, this focus system's pretty honestly messed up. I mean, the whole way that you gain the affinity, having to... My biggest problem right now is that I'd have to switch frames to get different affinity, or I'd have to switch weapons to get different affinity. And really, it should just be a general pool of affinity, and then let me decide where I want to put my affinity. I think that's the big thing that I want right now. Not, okay, I've got, Oberons on Madurai, I've got my Loki Prime over on Narmon right now, and, well, I want to gain Madurai, but I want to use my Loki, or let's say I got Frost Prime out, or I've got, Rhino or whatever out, and I don't want to necessarily gain it in the particular lens that I have equipped on that particular frame. I want to gain it in someplace else. So there should just be a general pool right here that you can decide where to go to, and that's just my biggest issue right now, and that's a personal issue for me. Other than that, we'll go through this right now. So this will take a few minutes, and for anyone that wants to bitch and complain about my length of videos, now's probably the time for you to turn it off and go somewhere else if you want something short and sweet and to the point. Or I should say short and sweet, but not necessarily to the point. I like to be very detailed, and I like to be myself. So if you find me boring, if you don't want to watch this, it is what it is. Maybe if I remember, I'll put cues in the video so you know where to jump to for each of the different ones. And we'll start and just kind of go around from here. Anyway, so I gained enough focus to unlock all of these. As you can see, I can just quickly hit this to unlock, and we'll do all of them right here in the video. Really don't understand this whole person thing, and it screws up the whole Dark Sector, original Dark Sector game into affiliation here, and all that history. And I know that it wasn't exactly this game, but it kind of does mess up with the original Tenno history coming into here and inspiration of. Anyway, okay, so Madurai. We'll go right into Madurai. I've been here before. In the first video that I did on Focus, I thought you had to follow specific trees. You had to go certain ways to do certain things, and that's not true in any way, shape, or form. You can come in here and pretty much pick what you want. Okay, but I'd need 80,000 to unlock this. Okay. So you can come over here to Blazing Fury, and you can click this, and unlocking Blazing Fury will consume 50,000. Are you sure? I don't feel like doing that right now. But so they updated this now, and when you're looking at the trees, and we'll just do this. We'll go, right from the center, which is Phoenix Gaze, and you can upgrade them. Obviously, 1, 2, 3 times on the upgrade. At base, it unleashes a 20-meter destructive beam that inflicts 10,000 damage per second for 10 seconds to anything in its path. Yet, at 10,000 damage per second for 10 seconds, it still can't take out a nullifier's bubble. Go figure. Much like some other things that can't take out nullifier's bubbles, or should at least be able to shoot through a bubble, like, let's say, I don't know, a bow, sniper rifle. That's for another time. Then you can shoot from here, and you can go a couple different ways if you're sticking with the Phoenix Gaze. So you can come up to the Mastery area. It'll reduce your cooldown, but on the Phoenix Gaze, which is always a nice thing, so that means it'll reset faster. You can come down here to Phoenix Flash. If you're kind of going through the trees, you don't, like I said, you don't have to go specifically. You can go to any part that you really want to from what I've been told and what I've seen. Distance of the gaze is reduced by 10 meters, but the movement speed is increased by 10%. Not really a big thing. I'd rather have the distance over the speed, to be honest. And Rising Ashes, I gotta move that a little here. Rising Ashes, here we go. Phoenix Gaze ends with an explosive blast dealing 1,000 damage over 10 meters. If the player is caught up in the blast, their energy will be reduced by 100%. So if you're caught up in this blast, you lose, 100% of your energy. Basically, is what's happening here. Some of the big things though in the Madurai tree, we're going to come over to these passives. These are pretty good. So you got Blazing Fury. The unlock this give you 10% for the duration of the mission / damage increase. Over here you've got a 10% impact damage increase. Over here you've got Searing Wraith, gives you the puncture damage 10%. And I'm not sure that these are upgradable. Like, this is upgradable as far as I know. I'm assuming that everything's upgradable. Don't hold me to it because I haven't done it yet. I'm kind of holding out because this system is changing every day, and if I put points into it, and I'll feel like a fool if they screw something up or if they change something, or if we, in terms of the way everybody likes to think, if they nerf something like they already have apparently on another one of the trees, I'll feel like an idiot for having put anything into it while we're still in this beta phase of this.
Tenno, there's a time-limited mission alert.
Anyway, so these three are definite musts to have on the Madurai, I think, and they will definitely be something that I go for. Okay. Over here you got the Chimera Breath, which is the Phoenix Gaze splits into 3 beams, each dealing 50% damage. But what I like, if I can speak, what I'm really liking is the Dragon Fire, the fiery trail that remains on the Phoenix Gaze, burning enemies that cross through its path for 4,000 damage per second for 6 seconds. But dude, if this 10,000 damage per second for 10 seconds doesn't really do much, then this isn't really going to enhance it too much. It just sounds nice. The Meteorite over here, a forceful blast strikes the target of Phoenix Gaze, inflicting damage to enemies within 2 meters. I've been told this one's pretty decent, but again, everything is still very, very weak. You've got to gain a lot of affinity points to get these things open, and then you've got to gain a lot more affinity to upgrade these things. So, and there's the cap right now of 75,000 affinity per day, which means it takes at least 2 days to be able to unlock this. I'm not really sure about this whole capping thing. Why they're capping it makes no sense to me, honestly. And if you're going to cap it, double the cap. Make it 150,000 a day. I mean, seriously. This is supposed to be an enhanced system for everybody, and yet we're breaking it down. Hades Touch. Targets struck at Phoenix Gaze have a 5% chance to become ignited. Sounds pretty good. I'm assuming the percentage rate goes up as you rank it up higher. Again, don't really know because I haven't put anything to it. I really don't want to put anything into it as of yet. So, let's come over here to Narmon. Unlock. I'm just going to unlock it. Yes, I want to unlock it and assume I've successfully unlocked it. So now I'm in the Narmon tree. Okay, and the big thing in the Narmon tree everybody knows about is Shadow Step, but we're going to take a look here. Mind Spike unleashes 5 bursts of psychic energy over 10 seconds that inflict confusion on enemies within a 20-meter, 20-degree cone. Actually, doesn't sound too bad. That infliction of confusion is actually a pretty good thing. It's kind of like a radiation thing. So I can't say that that would be wrong in any way. Now, we could do the Mind Spike Mastery. Reduces the cooldown, of course. Not a bad thing in this case. Come up through Mind Blast. Reduces the distance traveled on the Mind Spike by 10 meters, but increases the size to 25 degrees. I would probably try to skip this if I had the opportunity because I really don't want to decrease the range. Okay, and then of course we've also got Mind Spike grants 3 charges of trauma. Melee attacks consume a charge of trauma to inflict critical damage. Players will lose 30 health per second while they have trauma charges active. I think that is okay. I think that's pretty dumb that I'm going to lose health just to inflict critical damage, which may or may not help depending upon the situation that I'm in. So it's going to be pretty situational. I'd probably stay away from that particular section of the tree for me. We got Strategic Execution over here. It's a passive. So Mind Spikes grant 10% increased affinity from killing enemies within melee weapons for the duration of the mission. Not a bad thing. You get more affinity. Can't go wrong with that, but it's all being put into the Narmon. It's not being put into a general pool for you to share throughout. You've got Deadly Intent, increasing 15% critical chance with melee weapons for the duration of a mission, which obviously as you raise this up, I would assume the percentage increase is raised as well as you go through the different levels. I assume it's different levels. Again, assumptions because I haven't tried it and I really don't want to try it as of yet. But Shadow Step is really what I was looking forward to, and you can pretty much use the Narmon on any frame if you're going to utilize melee, basically. So Mind Spikes grant 5 seconds of invisibility when inflicting critical damage with a melee weapon for the duration of the mission. Now, if you are able to level this up, obviously the percentage of seconds that you'll be invisible is changed, and of course every time that you inflict a critical damage with a melee weapon, you're going to stay invisible. So with any frame that you're using the proper melee weapon with that has a high critical chance, you're definitely going to be able to pretty much stay invisible throughout the mission as long as there's enemies to kill. However, you have some advantages with things like Banshee. You have an advantage with Loki, obviously. You know, their ability is giving you the extra critical chance increases. When you're using melee, there's a couple other frames out there that are the same. So this becomes useful in certain situations. Again, it's all about invisibility. Tactical Strike, down this way. Mind Spikes grant allies 10% increased critical chance for melee weapons for 20 seconds. Okay. If your team is running melee. Cloaking Aura grants allies invisibility for 5 seconds. Okay, so when I hit Mind Spike, they all become invisible for a whole 5 seconds. That can be good or bad. That can really screw with someone's mind if they have no idea what's going on in the middle of a mission. That is what we call a troll right there. If I hit that and you don't know that it's about to happen, you become invisible, you'd be like, what the fuck? Anyway, you got Sundering Blast as a 25% chance to disarm enemies. Again, this is pretty nice, especially disarming enemies. Hello? I don't know what the rate is as it expands to higher levels, but if the percentage rate obviously goes up significantly, and let's say we're at a 75% chance at max level, that's actually pretty good. But we'll hold judgment on that until I see more changes in the basic focus system. Zenurik, unlock it. Successful. So, we start out here, Void Pulse. Release 5 pulses of void energy over 10 seconds that suspend and incapacitate enemies with a 15-meter range, 20-degree cone for 20 seconds. Wait. What? 5 pulses of void energy over 10 seconds that incapacitate within a 15-meter range and 20-degree cone for 20 seconds. That kind of conflicts with each other. 10 seconds for the void energy, but an extra 20 seconds on the degree of the cone, so there's an overlap there that doesn't really make any sense, but okay. So, looking at this, we can go to the master, of course, you know, cooldown, we've seen that. Energy Surge, leave the field that replenishes 2 energy per second, 2 allies standing within it for a 5 seconds. So you can get 2 energy per second for 5 seconds, a whole whopping 10 energy at base level. Umbra Lance, Void Pulse creates a 6-meter aura around the player for 20 seconds that lashes out at enemies with a harmful void energy, dealing 4,000 damage per second. So 4,000 damage per second for 20 seconds at 6 meters sounds pretty good to me, if it actually works the way that it's supposed to. Again, I have read things that these stuff are not working and they feel very weak in their current setup the way they are. Magnetic Aftershock. Let's come down this way. Inflicts a target with an aura for 5 seconds, causing passive bullets to seek them out and to deal 2x damage. This was another one that I liked. I did like the Umber Lance, and I do like the Magnetic Aftershock as abilities here. The Zenurik I put on my Frost Prime, so there's some good points to this for me anyway. It may not necessarily fit everybody else, but for me. Then we'll come over this way. We'll do a Time Stream. 50% chance to increase speed by 20% for 5 seconds, but reduces the player's shield by 75% for the player. I don't know. I mean, you got something that's got a really high shield, or let's say you have like Valkyrie, where she's on her ultimate, then you're not going to worry about the shield too much. This can come out pretty well. Temporal Storm, 50% chance to increase speed by 20% for 5 seconds, reduces shield by 75% for nearby allies. Really? Really? This is a bad ability to have. You could pretty much kill your allies. 75% shield reduction. What? Really? How can that be good? Hey guys, I'm going to reduce your shields while you're taking damage from, the enemies, and so you can all die. No? Okay, energy overflow. Replenishes 1 energy per second for the duration of the mission. I have seen many people utilizing energy overflow as a passive. This is definitely one that you'd want to unlock and use. That does help your energy consumption. And it could even change your aura, because now you've got energy being given to you every second. You may not need the energy siphon. You could change that to a different aura. This could work out well on a number of frames, depending upon how you set it up. System Override increases the efficiency of Warframe's abilities by 20% for 5 seconds. Not a bad thing at all. Increasing your efficiency if you hit it at the right time. And finally, Energy Spike down this way. Energy Orbs causes Energy Orbs to restore energy to allies within 3 meters for the duration of the mission. That, as well, is pretty good. Is pretty good. But Energy Overflow is probably a mandatory down in here. System Override, give or take. And then I would probably go over this way, depending upon how they change it and how things work. Moving along. Come over here to Vazarin. Go ahead and unlock that. Okay. So Vazarin, Mending Tides. 5 waves of restorative energy over 10 seconds, each granting 250 health to allies within 10 meters. Now, you could easily put this on the Vazarin on a Trinity. You could change your Trinity up a little bit more to not have to have an EV Trinity. And this may work, but at the same time, you have to have this actually activate before this actually works. So, there's give or takes. It could be good on many frames, and it could be crap on many frames, depending upon how you play. So there is ability to Vazarin to be a really good one, or a really shitty one, depending upon which way you go. So, obviously we got the Mastery, the cooldown. Then we'll come over this way. Protection Ward grants a shell of protective energy for 5 seconds. Not a bad thing to have. Strengthen defenses. Restores 100 shields. Not a bad thing, depending upon what that's restoring. Is it to you, or is it to... I guess it's just to you. So it's probably not really something I would use too often. If it was to allies, and if it was to... let's say you're in a defense mission and it's restoring the shields of the cryopod, that type of thing, probably not a bad thing to have. Okay, down here, Guardian Presence grants affected allies a protection ward for 5 seconds. So protection ward here for yourself, Guardian Presence grants it for your allies. but this would still be better if you had it set up properly. Commanding words down this way or up this way, whichever way, grants an aura for 5 seconds that stuns enemies that pass through it for a short duration. Not a bad thing. But this is obviously a personal that has nothing to do with your team getting that grant, which I would think is probably better as a team instead of just you. Or you and your team, I would say. Come down this way. Mending Shower. Increases the radius of mending tides by 12 meters, but reduces healing effectiveness to 175 per burst. So if your basic is 250 and now you're decreasing it to 175, but you are increasing it to 12 meters from 10 meters, is that really a big difference? Is that really worth the extra 2 meters to lose that health burst? I don't know. It all depends upon what it looks like when it's maxed out, to be honest. But it doesn't, to me, losing 75 health burst for 2 extra seconds or 2 extra meters, it just doesn't seem like it works well. But hey, it all depends on the situation. Polluted Waters will instantly revive fallen allies, but has a 95% chance to inflict them with viral and magnetic status for 2x duration. Okay, so I'm going to heal my allies, then I'm going to proc them with viral and take half their health away and half their shields away once I've healed them. How can that be good? That really can't be helpful. Hey guys, I'm going to heal you, but you're going to die anyway the minute I heal you because you're already at half health, half shield. So the first hit you take, you're going down. Yeah, great job. Great thought right there. New Moon. So we've got grants the ability to revive fallen allies instantly, up to 1 time for the duration of the mission. So this could work out. I mean, if you got the right time, you can instantly revive somebody when you need to. That's actually not bad, especially in some of these higher level missions, some of these sorties. This could be great. You're running a huge amount of enemies, boom, hit them, they're instantly healed and up and running, and you guys are both out of there before you take too much damage. Very positive way to do this. Now, I don't know as you level it up whether that means you get to do it 2 times, 3 times per mission, or how that works, but that's actually one that's not too bad. Retaliation. Mending Tides mirrors 2.5% of the damage taken back to attackers for the duration of the mission. This one sounds pretty nice as well. This is kind of like a parry, if you will, to some extent, because you're shooting back the damage. And this is one of the reasons why I actually put this on my Zephyr, because we've already got the ability to what is it? Her third ability that I can't remember the name of it right now. That one. Yeah. Anyway, this one looks pretty good. Works so far on Zephyr as well. Just thought. And then I don't know how much higher the damage goes though. I mean, but you could put this on anybody. Anyway, actually, you can put any of them on anyone depending upon how you want to play the game. So keep that in mind. I'm just rambling. I like to ramble, so let me ramble. Okay. Anyway, Disciplined Approach is the other one here. Increases the range affinity from kills. Is shared among allies by 10 meters for the duration of the mission. Mending Tide increases the range affinity from kills shared among allies by 10 meters for the duration of the mission. So you can share your affinity. Woohoo! Actually, not too bad, depending upon what you're trying to do, but not really something that I would be looking too forward to. So Mending Ties, New Moon, Retaliation are definitely ones I would do here. Depending upon which way I would go, these are basically the only 3 I would choose in here. That's the way to go. Just me, right now. Anything could be anything, It could be whatever it is. We'll see. As time moves on, this stuff could all change. And finally, the Unairu. Okay, so we start over here. Stone shape. This is going to work great on like Atlas. This is going to work great with my with a Rhino, which is I do have it on Rhino. There's a couple other things as well. But Stone Shape Ballistic Flares grant 5% bonus armor for the duration of the mission. Not bad at all. You can go a few different ways here. You can come down to Medusa Skin. Grants 20% chance to petrify enemies for 10 seconds when struck with melee weapons for the duration of the mission. Always a nice thing to have there. That's actually pretty nice. Obviously, that goes up as you level it. Mighty Blows attack with melee. Reduce the armor of the enemy by 5% for 10 seconds. Another nice thing, you're going to reduce armor. Always a good thing here. Ballistic Flare, which is the main part of this, unleashes a ray of petrifying energy for 10 seconds that turns enemies into stone for 20 seconds. This one is a beautiful thing. I have seen it in action a few times. And then to be able to grant bonus armor, petrify enemies, or reduce their armor, not a bad way to go. Okay, as we come down the tree, we've got Crushing Force, petrified by Ballistic Flare. Continue to take 200 damage per second. Again, this is a very nice one to have. I think at base level, this one is just insane. Ballistic Flare Mastery, of course, we can do that. Scorched Earth. Let's see what we got here. Ends with the eruption of flames blanketing a 4-meter radius area for 15 seconds, dealing 1,000 damage per second to enemies. The player has an 85% chance to be inflicted with corrosive status if they are caught in the eruption. You know, at the surface level, it's not too bad. I mean, of course, if you're caught in the eruption, you got 85% status chance on yourself for corrosive, so you better have something that's going to stop you from taking all that status damage, that corrosive damage. But only 1,000 damage per second for 15 seconds?
New alert marked on navigation, Tenno.
I mean, that's pretty low, don't you think? And Lasting Judgment reduce speed by 30%, but petrifies enemies 20% faster. No. And then we'll come down this way. Allies targeted with Ballistic Flare gain 50% increased armor for 5 seconds. So if you walk through this as you're targeted, like if you're someone shooting this off and you walk through it, you get a 50% armor increase for 5 seconds. Obviously, that can go up higher. Eroding defenses or eroded defenses. Enemies petrified by Ballistic Flare, which I can't say, suffer 10% reduced armor for 15 seconds. Not a bad thing. Weighted Justice. Petrified enemies sustain 2,000 damage per second from Ballistic Flare. Yes, please. Because if that's ranked up higher, let's say it's 6,000 damage per second from Ballistic Flare while Ballistic Flare is active, that's actually pretty good. So the Unairu tree is a solid tree to be working in from what I can see. And this would be something that would fit beautifully on like Atlas, on Rhino, on your tanky frames. On your extremely tanky frames, this thing could work wonders. That's just my opinion. Anyway, that's going to be all of those trees to look at right now. If you guys got comments or questions about that, please do ask. I know there's a whole bunch of focus stuff still going around, still things happening. I know this video is a little bit long, but hey, it is what it is. You wanted to see it, you wanted to know what it all is. There you go. I got through it all. I've got them all unlocked. We'll discuss it more further down the road, and of course, I keep submitting stuff over to DE because I just have a lot of problems with the way the system was introduced and how it works, and the daily points that you are allowed to gain. The daily focus of 75,000 cap just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching. As always, we'll see you soon.